the project is not suitable for open competitive procurement. In your response, you indicated time, and that is on the document that is on E, PPP Committee Technical Working Paper. They said the reason why is immediate need to develop the airport. It looks like an emergency. But now that you have heard there are other people who are interested, of which we are going to call KAA to come to this committee and say why they never forwarded this PIP. They only chose to forward the Adani one.
You see, Chair, that comment is actually from KAA, the contracting authority. It's not from Treasury. And it is a contracting authority which has made that observation of time. This committee to guide, the PPP committee. But I also want to say this, Chair. Truth be told, our airport needs to be developed. We have complaints about the leaking roofs. We have complained about power. As to whether this PIP was the right thing to do, it's for the contracting authority to address. But what I know is PIP is provided in law. And as far as where it has reached, I have no reason as CS National Treasury of the Republic of Kenya to fault any process. The process is still ongoing. So far, I have no reasons to doubt the work that has been done by both the directorate, the committee, and even the contracting authority. So whether this should be stopped is not a decision I would sit here as CS, and that is why we have independent PPP committee to deal with that, the directorate to guide, the contracting authority. If I now come here as CS Finance and say they should stop, on what grounds?
But you sit at the cabinet and you're going to discuss it there. Would you give such an opinion?
Of course, if it comes to the cabinet, I will deal with it there. And you see, whatever we'll discuss in the cabinet will remain in the cabinet.
Senator Chute.
Yeah, maybe before you give Senator Chute.
I don't know what this CS means. I don't know what he means, because I have seen dispatches from cabinet when you have meetings. Why are you saying this one will remain there? Because after cabinet meetings, I usually see something called a dispatch from cabinet on the things that you have discussed. Honorable Mbadi, we live in a country of transparency. If it is a matter affecting all of us, you cannot say as CS that it will remain there. That airport does not belong to cabinet. It belongs to all the 55 million of us. And as the house that oversights executive, I think you should withdraw that statement, Honorable CS.
The recommendations...
Chairman, you know, Honorable Sifuna and I, up to recently, I've not had the luxury of being in the cabinet. And I've just been in the cabinet for a few weeks, but this is the information.
So you need some induction.
This is the information I would supply. That communication from the cabinet will come officially. Whatever is discussed in the cabinet, this will not for public consumption, but what the outcome, the decision is of the cabinet will be communicated. Whoever disagrees and agrees, we will never know. And I'm not at liberty to give my opinion here, because then it will be said that Mbadi was overruled. So let me go to the cabinet and engage my mind at the cabinet. Then when the communication comes, you should know it is a collective responsibility, which now I cannot run away from, even if I had a different opinion.
Okay, Bwana CS. Vice Chair, quick one, 1 minute.
Yeah,
just 1 minute.
Chair, I just needed to put the record straight, that the CS should also know that we in this committee or in the Senate are not opposed to the improvements and maintenance and even enlargement of development at the airport. We are not opposed to that. Neither are we opposed to the BOT, the build, operate and transfer method. We only want Kenyans to get value for money. We want the best to be given in order to do the job at the airport.
Yeah. That's setting the record straight.
Chair, I wanted to ask a supplementary question on what the CS has commented. CS, if you ask to distribute your fees, there are these 4 methods of procurement. And you have been approached for advisory because the PIP proposal was brought to Treasury. And then also there are 3 other methods which are acceptable in law that can be followed. Is it possible for you as CS Treasury to guide that because of the nature of this project, let us avoid the PIP and go to competitive bidding, also noting that this project has brought a lot of public outcry. So at your level now where we are, is it possible to advise or to guide that let us stop the PIP because it was brought on by Adani, and then we open it to competitive bidding, so that also you can get an opportunity also to make sure that Adani also competes with other stakeholders who might be interested in the project.
CS.
Chair, I only want to request that I'm not pushed to step outside the law. The public-private partnerships procurement methods are outlined in law. A contracting authority may procure a public-private partnership project under this Act through A, direct procurement, B, privately initiated proposals, or C, competitive bidding, and D, restricted bidding. So either one of these can be picked and executed, so long as it is executed within the law. There would be no problem. So if it is pointed out to me clearly that there is violation of the law, I would guide otherwise. As to whether there were other PIPs, I'm yet to see. What I have seen here are letters, written, expression of interest. You know, even me, I can write to KAA and express my interest that I want to develop the airport. It doesn't have to proceed to PIP because there are conditions, there are things you have to fulfill. So if it is proved that there are some proposals that went to KAA, proposals, not expression of interest, and KAA did not act, then KAA needs to respond to Kenyans and tell us what happened. As far as I'm concerned, and I want to repeat, Treasury is not in receipt of any other PIP apart from the one by Adani.
My question, Chair, is very simple. Whether as custodian of our Treasury, is it possible to guide the government where you see it, the presidency? Is it possible to guide that this method is not the best, let us go to competitive bidding? Is it possible to guide at that level where we are today?
And again, CS, you said in your response, you actually quoted Section 40, subsection 2 of the PPP Act, saying that the project should be delivered at a fair market price. How would you know a fair market price if it is not competitive?
That is provided under PIP. You know, we are mixing 2 procurement methods, Chair. You cannot have PIP and have competitive bidding. It's not practical.
No,
so under PIP, to determine that, you do due diligence, technical evaluation, and that is the process.
The line we are talking about, CS, is the justification why the project is not suitable for competitive procurement. That is where we are.
You know, the assumption here is that procurement, competitive bidding, is superior to PIP, and I'm not seeing that in law. Can someone point out to me in this act where
but it's the law? It's the law that says you're holding.
Yeah, this law
that you have to give justification.
Yes.
Why it is not suitable for open.
Yes.
Competitive procurement, not direct. So the one that is superior actually from that line is open competitive procurement, because you only need to give justification why you are not using that. So it must be the one that is superior.
And that is required for KAA to state, and they have stated. You can agree with it, you can
We want you to guide them. That is a question.
You see,
whether you want to guide them.
Chair, let us allow the technical evaluation to proceed. Once it is done, this process will even come to the cabinet. It will go to the Attorney General. All these legal provisions. In fact, the Attorney General has no capacity to even advise Cabinet Secretary.
I would like to inform the Cabinet Secretary that competitive procurement under the law is superior to a PIP. That is why under section 40, clause 3, paragraph J, you are required to give a justification why you can't use competitive bidding, because that is the default procurement standard. You are supposed to justify why you can't use competitive bidding. So I'd like to inform you that competitive bidding is superior and the default position in procurement. So when you want to deviate from that, you must justify. Of all the procurement methods you have given, the law does not require you to say why you can't use direct procurement, why you can't use whatever request for proposal. It requires you to state why you can't use competitive bidding. Because even in Article 227 of the Constitution, Clause 1, you have to procure in a competitive manner. So competitive procurement is the most ideal, is the superior. These others are deviations and they are ring-fenced. You must justify why you are deviating from the standard or the default position. That's why the law requires that justification. So it's a superior method of procurement. That's the information I had to share, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, before you convince the Attorney General to sign the concession, you have to prove that you have complied with the law. And so that will be complied with. We are at a stage where we are still processing this transaction. It has not reached the level where now you can hold a contracting authority or anybody for failure to perform what is supposed to be performed still.
Okay, let's have, you see Senator Fernandi has been raising his hand. Let me just give him 3 minutes. Yes. He has, for the last, I think, 20-30 minutes.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, thank you. Waziri, relax. I'll ask Dangatan-like questions. That is very simple. I'll not complicate your life. So relax and sit. Thank you. Chair, through the Chair, Waziri.
Are you using a microphone?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Am I audible enough? Yes. Thank you, Chair. Waziri and DG, are you aware that Adani Company, and I will request that you write down so that you'll respond once and for all. Are you aware that Adani Group of companies have any affiliates in the country? Number one. Number two, there is a report by a consultancy company of America called Heidenberg Consultancy Company Limited. In the last 2 years, they uncovered tax manipulation and other illegal things that made Adani Group of companies lose $100 billion. Are you aware of such? And the recent one of Swiss authorities where allegations were facing Adani Company that the account in Switzerland of 310 million had been frozen. Number three, in your Annex B, you are presented on the issue of work visa. That area, Waziri, is grey. What will be the fate of Kenya Airports Authority employees who were just demonstrating the other day over their worry and the fate of their work related? And it is not clear who should Adani come with, because the issue of expatriates, the issue of qualification and one of you. Number four, there is a eternal clause of 18% at the end of 30 years concession, a period of 30 years that there is a eternal clause of 18%. Does it mean after 30 years, Adani will continue owning JKIA, our airport, with a stake of 18% forever until Jesus comes back? Number five, I have letters here, and I don't know whether DG, you are aware, there are many letters from then PS Irungu Nyakera on developing Konsa Airport. Are there any PIPs on that matter? The sixth, Chair, I have seen most of the correspondents have the former Minister of Roads, Kipchumba Murkomen. There is the former MDK, Alex Kitari, and former CS of National Treasury, CS Ndungu. Is it possible to invite them to the committee to share more light, because it looks Waziri Mbadi is shooting in the dark? Is it possible to have them, including what was happening in Dubai, under the guise of other things? So is it possible, so that we can get the correct version? Let us have, and I want to advise CS Mbadi, we know you just came the other day. Don't carry anybody's cross. If this thing is grey, call it as it is.
Leave it.
Run away from where you come from, and your SG is here. It is good to stand with the truth and the transparency. So if the other people messed in office, don't carry any other. Then the sixth question, I have seen the letter in Annex F, that was addressed to PS Dagar. And they are saying the JKL land will be provided by KA. I thought all land below is managed on behalf of National County through National Land Commission. You need to clarify that. On the issue of fixed exclusive concession fee, is about 47 million. And in fact, per annum, and they are saying they will adjust 10% inflation, based on inflation. Don't you think this is expensive for the country? And finally, Chair, on the feasibility report that was done by KA to Adani, in your own opinion as an auditor, was this an insider trading, or let me, for lack of a better word, that was being used to try and perpetuate, in conclusion, Chair, to try and perpetuate giving state capture, yes, giving upper hand to Adani Group of companies that is running everybody, is running Shiv, is running now Ketraco, is running our airports. Who knows, they may come and run our wives and our children if we are not careful with this Adani Group of companies. So, Chair, I request CS Mbadi, tell the country the truth. Every Kenyan, from even Suba to Nandi, would really want to know your position on this matter. And I want to say, with exception, Chair, when you took an oath of office to protect the rule of law and the Constitution, you cannot be part of an illegality. It is also your responsibility to advise the government on the rule of law and the truth, Chair. So, Chair, on this issue of Adani, I would have expected a lot from, and that is why your former colleagues in the other side of the aisle do not believe who you are, because we wanted you to tell us the truth as it should be. So please run away from this one. Thank you, Chair.
CS.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, whether Adani has affiliations locally, I have no idea. I think I will later allow my DG, who has interacted with this a lot, to tell us if he's aware of any affiliation, local affiliations, though there is nothing really wrong with that.